I think when your nose itches, it means something. Isn't it?
Someone's talking about you?
Wish they would stop.
Okay, Google. What does it mean when your nose itches?
According to reference.com, if the left side of your nose itches, the visitor is going to be a man, while itching on the right side means a woman caller is likely.
Ew, a visitor man?
So we should lock the door.
Yeah.
We're totally recording.
Oh.
We have been this whole time.
Well, my nose is fine. For all you concerned listeners. It's great. Ow.
So, Crime Crazy time.
Oh, my favorite time.
It is my favorite. I've been looking forward to this so much.
I know. We literally text each other almost every day. Like,
I know.
Oh my God, 2 more days. Or like, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I wish you still lived here because I could see us doing this like every night.
I know. Oh God.
It'd be an every other day podcast.
We would never sleep. It would be like eat, drink, crime crazy.
Yeah.
We should get a shirt that says that.
So welcome to Crime Crazy. I'm Erin Klein.
I'm Jordan Middleton.
And this is our 3rd episode.
Which is crazy. I feel like we just started, but on the other hand, it's like, I don't know. I feel like we're so new, but yet we're like seasoned already.
Right. Well, I've been listening to so many podcasts that I feel like, I don't know, I'm just in that group.
Yeah. It's like, that's just me. That's who I am now.
Right. I'm not actually as cool as all the podcasts I've been listening to, but I like to think I am.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
It's something to strive to.
My mom watched, no, she listened this week.
If she watched, she'd be here.
That's true. No, only my husband watches. And this dog, although she's pretty passed out right now.
Yeah, so I think we're back down to just your husband.
Yeah. Zoe, can you say hi? Nope. Mm-mm. Okay, good night. So yeah, we have at least that one listener.
Yes, we do. I listen. So does that count?
I think it does because you're not logged in.
Oh, that's true.
Us, so
I'm logged in as me.
Which means really, if I would log out and then listen,
it would count.
No, actually, we had a fair number of listeners. Like, a whole lot more than really I would expect. Honestly, it was a positive thing. But anyway, yes, episode 3. Although I do feel like we've been doing it forever. And I think part of the reason is because I've researched so many crimes.
You get so sucked into it to the point where I'm like, where am I? And like I said last week, I feel like I am the criminal. Like at the end, like I'm like, what? So after a while, I feel like we're never gonna run out of interesting crimes.
Well, no, because somebody will just commit another interesting crime.
So on the phone with my sister today, I was like, so if you hear anything, let me know.
Let us know.
So now I'm like casting my net.
That goes for those like handful of people who are listening to us too. If you hear anything or know anything, let us know.
So easiest way, I think for most people, is email. Because you already have your email button on your phone. Just click it. Type in crimecrazypodcast@gmail.com and send us your link or your story or however you want to send it to us.
I'd rather it be a story. I think they should type it out. Or, I mean, they could record it or something like that too, but I want in their words. I think that would be cooler.
That's true. I mean, even if it's like a little blurb, like, hey, this happened down the street for me.
Right.
I got stuck in this traffic because... blah, blah, blah.
Shorter messages like, I know who the Colonial Parkway killer could go to Facebook or Twitter.
Or, I mean, if you wanted, you could send us a DM on Instagram.
There you go. Or take a picture and put a cool filter on it. And
then put here's the guy who did it.
Right? Right, here he is. Although I still think that you said he was in jail. The... Atwell guy. Fred,
He got his name? Fred Atwell.
Yeah, I think it's him. So he may be not available for Instagram photos at this time.
Well, that's true. There are some pretty rough pictures of him.
Online. Yeah, there are.
So
my mom listened to this podcast.
Yes, she texted me.
And she's texting. And she says that Jordan, she is allowed to read.
I know.
And I'm sorry. No, you're not.
And I was like, no. I love you. Ha ha ha. I mean, she can think whoever she wants, but...
Right. But no. No, just keep that to yourself.
I love you, Mom. But no.
She also said that we knew somebody that one of my little sister's friends.
Yeah.
Her uncle was one of the ones. Was it one of the ones that went missing that never got found?
Yeah, well, that's the only Keith that I know.
Yeah.
That was in the story because it was Richard Keith.
Oh, okay.
So I guess that was him. That's why I was like, oh my God.
So that's crazy. I mean,
yeah. It is really close to home. It is
really close.
And I think I forget because I didn't grow up here.
Right.
So I don't, and that never comes up in a casual conversation. Like, oh, hi. And like, do you know anyone, or are you related to anyone who was a part of the Parkway murders? So I'm like, I don't know. I just never thought to bring it up to people. But even my best friend's coworker was... Let's see. My best friend's coworker was talking about it, and one of her cousins was a victim.
That's crazy.
So I was like,
it's not quite in our sphere of like it affects us, but it's
still
right.
It's like 7 degrees to Kevin Bacon,
but only like 2 degrees.
To a murder.
Oh, that's no.
I don't want to play.
No, that doesn't sound like fun. So, I have decided to stop asking you if you've committed any crimes this week.
Because it's always going to be the same?
It's always going to be the same. And if it wasn't the same, it's not like you're going to say, oh yeah, so on Wednesday, just so I'd have something to say, I robbed a convenience store. So, have you done anything weird this week?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like that's
crazy.
I feel like that's my life these days because of my puppies. So everything I do is weird. Like I wake up not expecting.
You have weird puppies.
Well, yes, I do.
They weigh like 175 pounds.
I have one who's almost a year old, which is kind of crazy to think about, and he is like 145. And the other one is like 6 months.
Pounds heavier than my oldest son who's in college.
And then I have a 6-month-old puppy who
is mine.
Aaron's going to steal him. And he's almost 80 pounds. But they're both on hunger strikes. So they're like not eating anymore. But so like this morning I let them out. It was such a beautiful day. And I was like, all right, this morning it was great. I was like, good, go outside, get some fresh air. And then I hear gagging. I was I hate starting my morning off like this. Normally there's socks.
Yeah, that's what our Great Dane used to eat all the time was socks.
Yeah, and then I go outside and Julius is sitting there on his little butt just looking at me, gagging, and Frankie's licking his face. I don't know if he was trying to help the situation or catch it.
Oh.
But he was, so I had to intervene, and that is probably my weird thing because I always have to intervene, and I never figured out what it was.
So when... our preschooler was little, so under a year old, I think. We went to visit our friends in Tennessee, and my best friend's husband made the comment that he knew now I was a mom, even though I'd had another child for a long time. Now I was a mom because I took the baby's diaper off and he started to poop, and instead of like dodging, I tried to catch it so it wouldn't get all over everything. Mm-hmm. So it's just that Frankie's a really good mom.
He is, and he just loves his little baby brother.
Right.
So,
and whatever his baby brother ate.
Yep. Did you do anything weird?
No, but something weird happened, and I don't know if it happened today. We noticed it today. So, we had the guppies.
Yes.
So we had this little 3-gallon tank, and we've had, how many adult guppies have we had? Like 8? So not all at once, but we have bought a bunch of guppies because they just died, and I don't know, they're fish. I didn't put that much effort into it. I only bought them a 3-gallon tank, so I'm sort of a terrible person. But anyway, finally, we were down to one guppy who was like hugely pregnant, right? Mm-hmm. And this was like not quite a month ago, and she finally had her babies. So one day, my 4-year-old's like, "Oh my gosh, there are babies in here!" So we had been taking care of the babies. Well, today he goes over there and he's like, there are a lot of babies in here. There are more babies in here. Oh my gosh. So even though there's still only one adult guppy and the little fry, I mean, they're still definitely fry. Like you can't tell they're guppies yet. There's no way that one of the babies like got the mom pregnant. Not only that, but if they get too close to her, she tries to eat them. So there are at least 30. There were 11. Now they're like 30.
It's flooded.
So that was really bizarre because I know that guppies can mate once and then have babies for like a year.
That's insane.
It is insane. But it hasn't been long enough. Like, it's supposed to be like 30 days in between. There's no way the older guppies are a month old. So I don't know. Our fish are just multiplying.
But there's only one who's doing it.
Right.
So that's terrifying.
Well, and she's still kind of fat.
Yeah, she is. I said that, though, a while ago before she had the second batch. I was like, she's still really big.
So, I mean, now there's like 30-some fish in a 3-gallon aquarium, and they're fine right now. But oh my gosh, what's going to happen?
They're not going to be.
If they all make it to adulthood, it's going to be like my mother-in-law's fish tank, where it was just 1,000 fish. So anyway, so that was my weird thing.
That's
that
terrifying.
like apparently some mysterious guppy dove into my tank, had babies, and then disappeared. That's my theory.
And took the night off.
Yeah, just disappeared after that. So, all right.
Are you gonna go first today, Erin?
Am I? I know we talked about it, but then I promptly forgot what we said.
I think you should, because mine, I don't know, for some reason I like really want to hear yours, and I feel like mine's going to be boring compared to yours.
I'm so excited about mine. I found it a couple nights ago, and my poor husband, I keep telling it to him over and over and over again. So I'm like, okay, wait, I just found out more details. You have to hear this part. So, I found it. So yeah, I will go. I'll go first, because I'm really excited and waiting for this all day.
I'm excited for you to tell me.
So I found it originally on one of those, like, I think I just was doing a random, like, weird robbery Google search or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it on some little blurb. And I was like, yeah, that's not the whole story. Let me look it up again. And so I jotted down some notes and I looked it up again. And I actually found a, like, first-person account from the daughter of the man who's the main character in the story. So it was super detailed. It was really, really cool. I think she's actually written a whole book about it.
Oh, gosh.
But the link that took you to the book was not working, and so I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, I called it the Murdoch Mitchinson Mystery. What?
I'm gonna sneeze.
Oh. She's holding her nose like, that name stinks.
Oh, no. I like the first name, last name I don't like.
Murdoch Mitchinson.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, so it's actually about several people.
Okay.
So it started in the 1970s when Murdoch...
Before either one of us were born.
That's right.
We always do that.
That's
and
right.
finally it's you too.
So let's see, my mom was 10 in 1970. Okay. So in the 70s, she was a teenager. So when she was a teenager...
Oh, that's so strange.
Oh, she's going to kill me now. She's listening to this podcast and, like, every time I'm telling everyone's ages. Sorry, Mom.
Love you.
In the 1970s, not just sometime in there, Murdoch and Rosalind Mitchinson retired.
Mm-hmm.
Murdoch had been a zoologist, British
cool.
zoologist. Yes, he was born in 1922, so he was only in his 50s when he retired. Like, it's pretty sweet.
Ideal.
And Rosalind had been a historian. And actually, if you Google Murdoch Mitchinson, it doesn't immediately come up with this story about this part of his life. It comes up with, like, all of his, like, experiments and advancements. He was into,
all
like,
the good
cellular
stuff
biology. And yeah, it was really cool. Well, no, he's not the bad guy.
Oh, okay. I was
he's the victim.
Oh, no, now I feel bad. Sorry.
So anyway, he's a super smart guy, right? His wife's super smart lady. They retire. They build their dream home in Scotland. So what they do is they buy this big parcel of land that used to have people living on it but had since been abandoned and started falling down. Mm-hmm. And instead of restoring any of the buildings on the property, they built their dream home on part of the property. So they have their dream home. And it was... apparently in this, like, really great location. Even though they had lots of property, they had neighbors that could, like, walk over.
Oh, that's cool.
They would leave their front door open. They had a sign, like a handwritten sign that said, come in and shout, like, hey, I'm here.
Oh.
And their friends would come over. They had
like a fairy tale life.
They did. It was really peaceful. They would always leave out, like, a whole bunch of snacks in the kitchens. There's, like, fruit and salty snacks and chocolate bars and all kinds of stuff in the kitchen.
I want to go.
Right? It's like, I don't know, grandparents' house or something. And they had, like, their house was big and open. It had lots of light. It had 2 sets of double French doors. Mm-hmm. And it had like 8 exterior doors in total. Just an insane number. So you could walk out to all different parts of the property.
Oh.
They had a fish pond, and they had just all kinds of amazing things in this house. So perfect idyllic life. And they lived there for a while. Rosalind was really into jam, and I think that she made jams. I know she just had sort of a jam collection. Like, that was her thing. She just always had lots of homemade jams. Murdoch was really into, like, weird collectibles. Like, he had this Chinese figurine.
Like tchotchkes?
Yeah, but not tons. What he's really into collecting was alcohol. And he would buy, like, really nice wine and just tons of it, tons of gin and, you know. Mm-hmm. So lots of expensive alcohol. So when Murdoch is about 80, his wife, Rosalind, dies. She has a stroke and she dies. And he's really sad and really lonely, mentally completely sound, like no dementia, no confusion or anything like that. But he's starting to get kind of frail and he has trouble moving around, arthritis.
I'd say it's just old age.
Yeah, he's just old.
Yeah.
And so he's living in this house by himself. But, you know, the friends still stop by. He still leaves the door unlocked, still leaves the kitchen stocked, all that good stuff.
Same life.
Has his wine, right. He doesn't go out very often. And so he, at one point, when I was reading this, they were like, yeah, so he keeps a lot of cash in the house because he just doesn't leave very often. So he would just be prepared for whatever might come. So he doesn't have to go out. About 2007, they have this housekeeper named Jean. And she notices that it's called a digibox. It's like to get satellite TV. Has disappeared. And so she tells Murdoch, this is really weird. Like, did you move it? Where did it go? And this is actually the second thing that went missing. Because back when his wife was still alive, like a bunch of fruit went missing and they were like, oh, it's mice. And then they had a big clock that went missing, like an old, expensive, important clock.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, well, you know, somebody must have taken it or something. But they weren't all that disappointed because Murdoch really didn't care about stuff.
Okay.
So they weren't all that disappointed or worried or anything. But now the satellite box is gone. And so they start to walk around the house and they notice there are other things missing, like cash and credit cards. They think some keys, like he had a drawer full of keys. He's pretty sure there were some missing. There were some documents and then a bunch of his alcohol.
Oh, no.
Yeah, just gone. And so mice are not doing that.
No. And if they are, I do not want to see how big they are.
No, right?
They
Even
freak me
Scottish
out.
mice, no. Over the next few days, there's more money that goes missing, more alcohol, some electronics. Somebody has eaten some chocolate bars, but they've just thrown the wrappers on the floor.
So they're like disrespectful robbers.
Well, right, and he knows it's not one of his friends because they would just eat the chocolate, like he would be there with them, and they eat the chocolate and throw it away. So he calls the police, but they don't really do much. And he calls the police every time. Is it like
Scotland Yard? I always want to say that.
Isn't that a British thing, though?
I don't know, but why is it Scotland Yard? I don't know. It should be. Oh, okay, well, I'll talk to the ambassador.
You should definitely call and get that figured
I'm going to solve all of these problems. That's going to be me. I'm going to be like, I know who the Parkway murderer is. I'm going to solve why this name is this way.
Right. You know, make you rename. And actually, the police in this story don't come out looking very good, so you might need to push it down over there. Although this was like 2002, so it's been 15 years. Actually, 2007, so it's been 10 years.
Okay.
Anyway, so the police came out and took the report and everything, but it really wasn't a priority because it was chocolate bars and a little bit of cash and maybe a bottle of wine. It was little stuff. Mm-hmm. And not only was it little stuff, but it was a little old man that was telling them it was missing, and they
never believe, and I know this because of where I work, just because they never believe older people because they think that they moved it and forgot. Mm-hmm. So they usually write these off like, oh, no, whatever. Because we did have a man who actually did do that and would move stuff or sell stuff and then say it went missing because he forgot. So I always feel bad when it's actually the truth and they don't, they don't do anything.
Right. So anyway, because the police are not doing anything, Murdoch has to start doing for himself. And so he has to start locking the door, and that makes him really sad because his friends can't just walk in.
Yeah.
He's like, if I were to fall and get hurt, then emergency services can't just walk in. I'm all by myself.
I didn't even think about that.
And he has some daughters, and they're worried too. And so they encourage him to lock everything up. And, one day, Murdoch calls his one daughter, Amanda, and she's actually the one that wrote all of this.
Oh, okay.
He called her every day, and he says, the thief's back. And she said, well, what did he take? And he said, well, he took 10 pounds that I put in a wallet and left on the counter to see if he would come back. And she's like, you did what? He's like, and he did. He came and took it. So she talks to one of her sisters, and she's like, yeah, this is not okay. Because it's, the thief has never done anything horrible. He's not stealing everything. He's not violent. He's kept out of sight. But what if there's a confrontation? What if, you know, he escalates or something like that? So she decides to fly over, and she does. And on Saturday, the police come and they check out the house, and they don't find anything. But it really becomes clear, like, what a great opportunity this is for a thief. There's a little old man who could never chase him in the middle of nowhere where nobody's going to see. There are 8 doors to the house. There's tons of cash and collectible stuff and alcohol and all kinds of stuff around the house. Like, it's super easy. Even just locking the doors isn't enough. So the police leave and nothing happens. And so the daughter goes for a walk that afternoon. She's just kind of walking around the grounds, and she comes to, there's actually a path that he had built to the original house that had been on the property.
Okay. And
so she goes there, but it's weird because there's like paper and tissues on the ground, and then she sees a bike. And she's looking at this bike going, well, how did this... I know my dad is not riding this bike. How did this get here? And all of a sudden this voice behind her is like, that's my bike. And he's really violent and really angry.
Oh my
God.
God.
And he shouts at her a couple of times. And then he just starts showing her around this ruin. And like shows her his fire and says something about a wasp's nest. And like he's just...
Oh my God.
Yeah. Just like, welcome to my home. Here's this. Here's that. And so she stayed for a little bit and, like, watched him try to get the fire started, and then she went back to her house. And she's in the house thinking about it, and she's like, whoa, wait. That's not his house. Like, I wasn't the one that should have been apologizing in this situation. Yeah. She was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not touching your bike. And that was probably the thief.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So
he's, like, squatting there.
Yes.
Okay.
So she goes back, but he's gone, bike's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's been cleared away, fire's out. But then, the next night, Sunday night, he comes back, and not only does he rob their house again with her there, too, but he also goes to the neighbor's house and steals, like, some foreign currency and a camera or something like that.
God.
So, Monday, the housekeeper sees him just kind of, like, stalking around the property. And
the same man with the bike?
The same man with the bike.
Okay.
And when she and the daughter talk, they're like, that's the same guy. Call the police.
Okay.
So they call the police and they tell him. And the police are like, well, okay, we'll look into it, but we already have a suspect. So they don't do anything.
Gee, thanks.
So just to prove that the police were wrong, that night the thief comes back again. And this time he's like super bold. So he comes in the house. And I can only imagine the daughter has gone back home by this point, because she said she only flew in for the weekend. And he spent a lot of time there. So he takes coins out of the pants pocket that Murdoch had been wearing that day. And he goes through the filing cabinet.
He is escalating.
He is. He tries some wasabi peas from all the food that's left out, decides he doesn't like them, and spits them all over the floor.
DNA?
Yeah, well, right, if you care, if they care.
If you're a freaking police officer.
He sleeps in the spare bedroom, smokes a cigarette in the bathroom, and leaves behind his toothbrush.
DNA again. What? First off, my nose is so sensitive. I don't care how big the house is. If I smelled that cigarette, I would have been like, what?
Right.
And it would have woke me right up. I mean, yes, I'm an 80-year-old man, I guess, in my head, but I still think I would have smelled it.
Well, and it's the housekeeper that realizes about the smoking in the bathroom. So I guess Murdoch didn't know at all.
At all. Well, if I was the housekeeper, then I definitely would have. And then I would have called the police and been like, he's here.
Well, she noticed the next morning.
Oh, I
guess
she
doesn't live there. She comes like 3 days a week or something.
Well, she should move in.
She should. Somebody should move in. Poor Murdoch. They talk to the neighbors, and the neighbors' family go out to the ruin, and they find their money, and they know it's theirs because it's foreign currency, and where else would he have gotten that? And they find more paper and tissues scattered about, and they find a syringe. So they all call the police, and it becomes clear that all of these calls to the police, like you were saying, they've just kind of been written off. So either they hadn't recorded some of them, or they had been, it was really disorganized, and like, there was the local precinct that should take care of his area and like protect those people. But then burglaries was in another precinct. Like the burglary department was a different section that didn't communicate with the local people. Then like, you know, whatever, petty crime. It was just all different departments and mixed messages. And they couldn't get a hold of the person that might actually have written some of the stuff down, or the guy that came out.
He's on vacation.
Yeah. So, the daughter gets pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she files an official complaint And the response she gets is very official looking. And it's like, we're really sorry you felt the need to complain. And she's like, okay then. So police are not going to do us any good.
Yeah.
So.
Or like sued the police or something. Yeah. Like you could sue a doctor for malpractice. There has to be something you can do to sue the police when they don't do their job. It's
hard because it's a scary, dangerous situation, but he really hasn't done very much illegal. Yeah. Like, he's broken in and he's stolen stuff, but not even expensive. So, not really
well, I would say, stuff. I think, so, like, breaking and entering every time, like, if you, like, split it up. Right. So, like, every time. So, there's several offenses of that with the neighbor's house included. And then petty larceny or whatever it might be. Right. Every time. Like, I feel like it should be like...
if you split it up like that, wouldn't you have to prove each time individually?
Well, it doesn't matter. They didn't freaking take any of the complaints.
I know, it didn't. I know.
It didn't do anyone any good.
So...
I'm gonna smack all those people.
Yeah. They decide they're on their own. So they secure the house even more, and they jam like wood in the French doors so they can't slide open, and which actually makes it a sliding door and not a French door, right? Because French door opens like a hand, like it opens in.
Yeah, because either or both out. Doors can open or in. Yeah, I guess it depends on how it's installed. But yeah, I don't know.
Either way, they jam all those things.
Yeah, they shut them off.
And the thief still gets in. Sometimes he climbs in through a window, and then there's like muddy footprints, and then sometimes they couldn't figure out how he got in, and whatever. So he's still getting in, stuff's still missing. One day the housekeeper actually sees him on a bus, and like they're both riding the same bus, and she's like, well, I didn't know what to say, because it's not like I could say, that's the thief, because they've already identified him. Like, the police don't care. Mm-hmm. And she can't be like, hey, nice to meet you. I clean up your mess every week.
Yeah, it's like, can you not wear your muddy boots inside, please?
Just take them off and toss them outside. Mm-hmm. The daughter sees him in the ruined house again on another visit. And so...
shouldn't that be trespassing?
You're right.
Like, can't they take him for something?
It's just like every time they called the police to say, he's here right now, he'd be gone before they got there.
Oh.
So...
shit, my ass would grab him and lock him up.
Right.
I'd get real crazy.
Well, but Murdoch wouldn't. It'd have to be the daughter. She'd have to...
oh, yeah. No, I would set, like, a bear trap. And be like, it's not my fault, he's on my property. No trespassing, bye.
That's what David said. He's like, I'd shoot him. And I was like, yeah, but I think things are probably different here than in every other country in the world.
I know, but I would like dig a big hole and like do like the twigs and the leaves. So then when he like rides his little bike over it, he just falls in and then he's caught. And then he can't get out. Whatever.
Spikes in the bottom?
Well, I wasn't
Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Oh, well, I don't know. I was just trying to trap him. I wasn't trying to kill him.
Okay.
Even though I might as well, because the police aren't going to take him. They're going to be like, oh, he fell in a hole. Get him out. I'll be like, no, take him.
Take him home. So yeah, even with all that, he's still getting in. And finally, one day, the police call. And they're like, do you think you could identify him from a mugshot? And the daughter's like, yes.
He's practically my neighbor. Yes. Good. Thanks for asking.
I've seen this dude a million times. So she identifies him. Right, and they at first won't tell her, like, oh yeah, you're right. They just smile, and then after a while, they're like, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, that's who he is. And so they tell her some stuff about him.
I'd be like, yeah, I know. Like, why don't I'll do the mugshot, and you tell me which one he is, because believe me, I know him. Right. Oh God.
He's a drug user,
of course. The syringe.
Right. He has a girlfriend and a child
in the house on the bike.
Not in the house on the bike, but like elsewhere. So I guess maybe he's just temporarily staying there, like, so he's close to his target. I don't know.
Okay.
But the police say, even with the identification and the fact that they've seen him.
If you say anything what you're going to say, I'm going to be really mad.
They don't have enough evidence.
Oh my God. I mean, like, well, here are his fucking peas. Right. And here is his toothbrush.
Right. Here are his muddy footprints. Yeah. They match his shoes. If you just hang out at the house, you'll see his bike.
Yeah.
Right. Nope. They don't have enough evidence.
Ask him to light a fire. I'll tell you if it's him or not. Like, I know he can't.
Right. He's no good at that.
So mad.
Well, all right, so here's something just to add a little bit to it, to make you a little bit madder. His girlfriend's sister, I think, like, the thief's girlfriend's something, I think it was her sister, cashes some of Murdoch's checks. that were stolen from the house. So, like, there's even a paper trail, and they still...
Are these, like, officers still in duty? Like, oh my God.
It was 10 years ago.
So, maybe.
So...
Because I'm about to send a very strongly worded email.
I was taping this podcast and I learned about this case.
And I'll be like, I'll record you a separate one of what you should have done.
Right.
Go to frickin' school.
Here's what you did and here's what you should have done. So finally, they catch him and they bring him to court. Murdoch's so excited because he's going to get to testify in court, which, by the way, is exactly how I would be if I got to testify in court.
I don't know. I feel like I'd be really scared. I was watching a show, like, this stalker guy had to go to court, and the person who was being stalked had to go, and she was like, I don't even want to testify against him because that means I have to see him.
Yeah.
So that, like, if it was more of a violent type case, this one I'd be like, here's your toothbrush, motherfucker. I'd be like real mad. So, I don't know. I'm already fired up, so let me calm down.
So, they go to court, they wait all day. They're talking to other people. It turns out that he's not only being charged for the crimes against him, like trespassing and blah, 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 blah. But also he had been siphoning gas out of some work trucks
for his bike
business. I don't know. And he had been robbing other houses. There are a whole bunch of people there ready to testify. Murdoch's all excited. And then at the last minute, he pleads guilty, so poor Murdoch doesn't even get to testify.
Aw, I still would have went and been like, let me tell somebody.
Right. I just need to see him. So they lock him up. And for a couple months, it's great, because he's not around. They don't have to worry about it. Like, Murdoch can have his life. He didn't actually mind. Like, he was upset with the thief, but he didn't really mind him, because it was like, well, at least there's something happening in my life. But, you know, at the same time, he made him change the way he was living.
Yeah.
So it was a relief when he was gone. And then one night, several months later, Murdoch calls his daughter and says, he's back. Yep, because he'd gotten out of jail.
Oh, my God.
I guess he'd served his sentence. And apparently what jail did for him was teach him new skills.
Of course. I knew you were going to say this. It's kind of like when they go in and then they just work out.
Yeah.
And then they're just stronger when they come back out.
And they talk to other thieves and they think about what they did wrong and
like how to correct it.
How to fix it.
But I wouldn't go back to the same exact house. Like, you're
totally
definitely an idiot.
He goes back to the same house. And he robs them. And I should have looked up, like, what year it is by now, because he comes back all the time, and he has learned new ways to break in. He knows that if you shove a wire under the door, you can knock the wood out of the way and then just open the French door. And
I hate this man.
Yep. He knows how to get into a safe, so he gets into Murdoch's safe.
Oh, my God.
And he starts stealing Murdoch's
I get a dog. Something.
Well,
cameras? Are we too...
No, but they actually talked about that, because the daughter said that it was really frustrating because there was no one, especially at first, to blame. Like, she knew who it was, the housekeeper knew who it was, Murdoch knew who it was, but, like, there wasn't somebody in jail that they could blame. There wasn't anybody trying to catch him. That people would say things like, well, Murdoch needs to do this, well, he needs to do this. And he didn't want to spend the money and change the way he lived. And he already had done a bunch of that. He locked his doors. There was no more open door policy. He'd put, like, a numbered keypad on the front door.
Oh, wow. So he did up his security to an extent.
He did. He didn't want the cameras. He thought they were way too expensive and silly. When he was 87, he fell, completely unrelated to the robber, and he broke his hip. And then he was wheelchair bound until he died. And at the funeral, the daughter actually mentioned the thief in, like, her eulogy. She's like, well, there's one really important person who's not here today, but who's been a really big important part of our lives. Like,
oh, okay.
But the thief was not done. Because after Murdoch died,
oh my God,
when there was nobody at the house, he got even bolder. He decided, to heck with, like, trying to shimmy open the doors and stuff like that. He smashed two of the doors in. He drove his car up to the house. He put all the alcohol in it, slept in the guest bed, and then drove away and was never seen or heard from again.
Oh my God. Okay, first off, these police suck.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know what the laws are and how they're different from ours, and honestly, I don't know how ours are either. But it is frustrating. It feels like they were just sort of left there.
Yeah.
To deal with themselves. Right. And at first it was like almost endearing until you start to look at all the ways that it was really affecting his life. Because it was like, okay, so there's this guy and he's, if he'd been this like harmless homeless guy camping in the shack in the woods and stealing food, then...
That's so weird. Mine is with a homeless man.
I said that and you like covered up your notebook and gave
I
me this
know, I was
look.
like, how did you know that?
No, I haven't. This is the first time that we haven't heard anything about each other.
Yeah, I know. That's why. It's probably why I commented so much, because I was like, oh, no.
Right. I think it's better this way.
Yeah.
But
I would have shot him. Maybe not killed him, but I would have shot him.
I don't know. Like,
I'd like to see him jump in my frickin' window with a shot-off leg. Have fun with that.
What would you do if you were the daughter? Because presumably she was, like, working or had a family or something. She couldn't come and live with him.
And I think she was not willing to ask him to leave his life fully.
Right.
To come. But I don't know. To an extent, I probably would have. Because it's like, what if he did get violent?
Right.
So.
Well, it spanned over years, though, and he never made contact other than, like, when they saw him in the woods or, it wasn't like he...
That's true.
He was very much just coming, and he wasn't even taking all that much. Like, I don't know. For a while as I was reading the story, it was sort of like, oh, you have your own person, like a pet, right? You got your own thief. He's like a niffler, and he's stealing your shiny stuff, and he's annoying. But it really wasn't like that, because it really did affect the way that he lived, and how miserable is that?
Yeah. Or if I would have hired the housekeeper to stay in there more, so then every time he came, she can call the police and just annoy the hell out of the police until they did something.
Right. Squeaky wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's just crazy. Like, that sounds like a story that somebody made up.
Yeah. I feel bad. I wish he was still alive, because I would write to him, too.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, Dear Mr. Mitchinson?
Yes.
Okay. I was trying to remember his last name, because I was like, I don't like that.
Actually, Doctor.
Doctor. Ooh, okay. Well, then I would have said that. I'd be like, I'm so sorry that you have this annoying MFer. I'll take care of him. 50 bills.
I feel like living in Scotland and having a hobby of owning lots of expensive liquor, he'd probably be okay with you actually saying the words instead of saying MFer.
Probably. Oh, that's true. So. That makes me mad. Well, I hope that karma came and got him.
I mean, he would have had a miserable life anyway if he's just doing nothing but robbing and stealing.
What an influence for his child. Like, dang.
Well, yeah, he's on drugs and
I feel like if he wanted help for some strange reason, I feel like if he came knocking, that they would have helped him.
I think so too.
And been like, yeah, you can squat in that, like, whatever. Like,
right, like, here's this.
Here's some candy.
Because they seem like generous, open, welcoming people. And I thought it was hilarious with the wallet, though. And he's like, well, I left it out to see if he was going to come back. And he did.
It's like, I set a trap to see if he would take the bait. But at least he started stealing fruit at the very beginning. And then he started getting, like, nasty.
Well, I assume that he stole the fruit. You don't really know. It could be mice. But...
I've never seen a mouse pull a frickin' full-size apple off a countertop.
I know, that's all I can imagine. I mean, it could be grapes. So you have a homeless man in yours?
I do! Okay. And mine, I don't know why, but I'm always drawn to anything Florida. Mike has taken me there so much, and then it's funny because every time I get into a story, I realize it's in Florida.
Right.
So I'm like, damn it, everything is in Florida.
Well, okay, so here, this might help explain why. So apparently, a friend was telling me that, like, the internet joke is right. Everything crazy happens in Florida. All this crazy thing. But it actually has more to do with the privacy laws surrounding, like, public information and crimes.
Oh.
So it's not necessarily that it happens more there. It's that they can tell all the details.
Gotcha. So, that makes more sense.
Yeah. But although, I mean...
Okay, so mine is a homeless man who kind of just... Which, in Florida... I always see more homeless people than here, which actually in Virginia, I was told that this area has the most indigenous... I can't ever say that word.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I said it right. Hey, it's recorded too. Homeless people in this area, out of any area in Virginia.
Really?
Like, I've had several police officers actually tell me that.
Like just our peninsula, our region, our...
Yeah. Like, he said Middle Peninsula, so I guess so. But,
oh, wow.
He said that we have the most, and that our specific area where we live is, like, the most communities, like, how they, like, kind of set up in the woods
I was going to say, I know where some of those communities are, and I've taught some of the children. Yeah. Because it becomes a real issue if you try to enroll your kids in school because you don't have an address, so technically you can't belong in the school system. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are ways around it, but... Yeah. You know, if you would rather be homeless and living in one of those communities than going to, like, our one shelter, then you don't really have that option. There can't be school. Yep, which is sad. It is. It really stinks. And then, like, a lot of times they'll get, like, rezoned because they'll force them to move into a shelter, and then they have to switch schools, and it's just... Yeah. It's a shame. Yep. Homeless people in Florida make sense to me, though, because it's not like they're going to freeze to death in the winter. No, and I think that's what it is, because even, I mean, we go to Miami a lot, and they pretty much stay on the beach all night. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but, like, there's a road, and then there's, like, a grassy area, and then the boardwalk, and then the beach. Right. Well, that grassy area / the boardwalk is where they are all night long. Right. And then when it's dawn, they all move into the city in, like, little nooks and little crannies everywhere. Right. So, anytime we're there, we usually get, like, wipes and toothbrushes and anything that they could need, water, whatever, food. Right. Anytime because we order a lot of food when we're on vacation and we never eat it all. So I'm always like 2 bites and I'm like, I'm done. So anything that we haven't touched, we'll wrap up and bring it to someone. Right. And Mike actually, like, he'll do it because he's like, no, wait in the car because he doesn't want me to do it. Right. So I'm like, okay. He's a big dude. Yeah. He knows what he's doing. So I'm like, okay. So there are a lot of homeless people down there, but I've met and seen a few really fun ones. Yeah. Like, it was, like, there's, like, outdoor shopping, and he was actually amputee, and he didn't have, or maybe it was just, like, a deformity, but he didn't have arms or anything. Like, it was just feet. Like, legs and feet. So, he was drawing something with his feet, and then he started smoking a joint. Just broad daylight, whatever. In the middle of the outdoor mall area. Did we discuss if medical marijuana is legal in Florida? I don't know. I mean, because... I don't know. I don't know. So that's what he was doing. But this one, I have not been here in Florida, and this is in the Keys. Okay. I want to, but I don't know, it kind of freaks me out. Middle of nowhere, all those bridges. I don't know if I can do that. But this is actually talking about the longest bridge between the Keys, and it's 7 miles long. So this homeless man, I don't know, they never even said his reason, on a whim, I'll say, decides to pretty much take a backhoe for a joyride. Like, he stole a backhoe. And his reason was, the keys were in it. So they do that, though. I think they do that a lot. They're just trusting. Or they're like, no one will know how to drive this. Yeah, maybe that's and that's why they did say that they were shocked that he had some knowledge of it, because a lot of people don't. But, so this was actually last year in February. So this was pretty recent. Okay. Yes, I was just like, oh, wait, what? So, they got numerous calls saying a backhoe was wildly flinging boulders across the 7-mile bridge. Oh my god! So, not at anyone directly. It was, the boulders were just going into the water. But was he throwing them, like he was on the bridge throwing them over? Yeah. And across the way. So. I mean. Can you imagine getting, like, more than one call? Like, the first call's like, oh, okay, it's a prank. And then the second call, they're like, wait, what? And then it's like, call. The 911 dispatcher's probably like, oh, believe this, but. So, I was cracking up. I was like, oh, this is a good one. How big does a rock have to be a boulder? I don't know. I feel like, call it a boulder, even if it was like a scoop of pebbles. I'd be like, there are boulders flying. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I don't know. So, when I lived in New Jersey on the mountain, we did have actual, like, boulders places, like, and I'm, like, saying a boulder, like, bigger than me. Right. But then, if someone else sees it, they'll be like, oh my god, that's a mountain. Like, it's, like, different, because, like, around our area, we don't have rocks like that. Right. We're, like, clay and sand. Yeah. So. With our silly little mountains that are really not mountains. Not. So, that's why I was like. I still don't want to climb them, but. So that's why I was like, I don't know how big it was. There was no pictures. I wish there was, like, surveillance. That would have been funny. So the police actually tried for an hour and a half chasing him back and forth on this bridge. and a backhoe goes, what, like 7 miles
I
an
would
hour?
say,
Didn't we talk about this?
It didn't say, but it was like, I think he was kind of at an entrance, but he kept kind of going in, but then out, but it's only a one-way bridge from what I was understanding.
Oh.
So I might be wrong. So maybe they had to like come in the wrong way
to
try to block him, but then they couldn't.
So he was just being sneaky and
so quick. He was just kind of like stuck in a little zone that he knew he was safe in.
For how long?
So it was an hour and a half chasing him back and forth.
Oh my gosh. Is he still flinging boulders? Because that would be the best part if you could do both.
Well, he was, but he didn't, I don't know if he meant to do it, but he was tearing off guardrails. He scraped through the asphalt because this is one that has like the front loader part and like the jackhammer thing in the back. So that was scraping the asphalt. And my favorite quote from this article, and swung its mechanical arm at the police. So I'm like imagining, I'm like, here, take this.
Right.
And it's like going so
slow. But if it made contact, it's going to damage your car.
Yeah.
You might get hurt.
So, well, really, I guess he didn't really stay at the entrance, because if this was a 7-mile bridge and he scraped the road 4 to 5 miles long.
Oh, wow.
So he was kind of playing on the entire bridge. So maybe that's why they couldn't get him. He scraped that, reflectors off, and some of the striping for the bridge. So he was going to town on this.
Oh my gosh. Then he's driving erratically on heavy machinery on what sounds like a very narrow bridge.
Yeah.
Oh
one
my
of
God,
the longest in the world.
Oh, he's going to go over.
Mm-hmm. So he was 59 years old. His name was Carl Blahnik. I always feel bad. It's not pronouncing people's names right. So he stole it. The keys were left in it.
Right.
It was an 8-ton backhoe.
Oh my gosh. No wonder he was scratching the
And
way.
they kept trying to like pull him over as if it was like a car. Like putting their sirens on. Like, get over. But then also, he's on the bridge. So where's he supposed to pull over to? They tried using spikes to like cut the wheels out.
I think that wouldn't work.
And, but they can only be used at the entrance or the exit of the bridge.
Just because of how wide
they needed to like
was?
chase him out.
Gotcha.
So either way, if they were cornered, they couldn't get it out, I guess.
Right.
So
there's that one bridge, I don't know what it's called. I don't know what it's over. But you remember when you used to go, you had your old boyfriend and you'd go out to that little tiny town that's...
yeah.
Which we're not telling you what it is.
That goes over a part of the Chesapeake.
Is it? That bridge.
Yes, I hate that bridge.
Is what I'm imagining, but like 7 times as big.
Yeah, that's a mile-long bridge. That's why I was like, I want to go to the Keys, but I don't know if I can handle that many bridges. So they were talking about using the spikes.
And would that even work on a...
So, it actually did.
Oh, okay.
So at 1:30 a.m., finally...
Oh my gosh, she's like, alright, I'm just done.
Yeah, they used the spikes, it stopped the backhoe, it came to a halt. So it did, I was shocked that the spikes are strong enough for those types of tires.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that's...
Do you think they have special, construction vehicle spikes?
I don't... What is the demand?
Monster truck
you know what I mean?
I know.
So I was like, unless it was just enough to, puncture them all enough to where he got, maybe another mile, and then it just kind of kerplunked.
Right.
But, they did arrest him, and it did... I guess he did get charged with 7 felony charges.
Probably with all that destruction of property and invading police.
I would say they said... They did say grand theft was one of them.
Oh, yeah, because
using a deadly weapon without intent to kill, because he was flinging the rocks and mechanical arm and fleeing the crime scene. So no one was actually hurt.
Well, that's good.
But the
bridge was.
Yeah, the bridge was. They said that, which actually I tried looking it up because it had been about a year. They said that they were trying to... I guess get the cost together, but they said it was very expensive and intensive work. They had to figure that out. But
plus, then you have to close it, and that's going to delay traffic. And you have to like when they did our bridge, we had to have a ferry for a while. And, although, were you even born?
Nope. I've heard it. I wasn't here.
Oh, you weren't here.
Yeah.
Okay, but you were alive.
I don't know. When was that?
I don't know, but I feel like I remember watching it on TV, so I really hope you were born.
Oh, I was probably born. I probably just wasn't here yet.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
But then to end it, no one was hurt, and the department spokesperson mentioned it's never the same thing twice in the Keys. So I was like, she's probably seen her fair share of shit there. Like,
yeah, no kidding. Well, I would imagine it's a lot of, like, drunk partiers and, like, people who have gotten out of control because they're on vacation. I would think that'd be a lot of it.
Yeah, I'll say, but a lot of it is, like, retirees and rich people who own parts of the island.
Well, right, but do you think they're the ones that are doing weird crimes?
I don't know.
I mean, I know that's who's down there.
I feel like maybe it's just, like, the calls that they get. It's
maybe.
like, there's an alligator here. Or, you know.
Ugh. You know how I feel about alligators.
I know.
Killed them all. Alligators, crocgators. Well, that's really funny. Is it really terrible if I can't quite muster up hatred for either of our criminals?
I don't know. Yours pisses me off, but
well, no,
that's
he definitely
different.
does. He definitely does, and he is of the two. He makes me madder.
Yeah.
Than a guy.
Mine
playing.
had real no motive. It was just kind of like a teenager. Stupid. Like it was just there.
Right.
Like so, I did that. Like, right. But they did say he had to have experience because no one could have used a mechanical arm and stuff like that.
Well,
like
right.
I wouldn't know what
really
to do.
Adept at it. Like not only can he drive it, but he can swing it around and throw things.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, if I got in one, I wouldn't know what to do.
I think the other thing is we've been talking about such terrible things in our other episodes, like mass murders and
unsolved crimes,
and rotting bodies, and
and
you were like, oh no, this is a clear black and white like bad.
Mm-hmm.
And these two guys are bad. I mean, they definitely knew what they were doing and did it anyway. Yeah. And
mine got more charges than yours did.
Yours probably spent more time in jail.
Oh yeah, I would say that's
even in America where.
Yeah,
just gonna drink my drink. Not talk about it.
I'm just mad that mine got 7 felony charges, and yours probably was like a few months, and then back at it again.
Well, it was. It was a few months. Yeah. It was a handful of months.
That's insane.
Yeah, I don't really understand sentencing and all of that here, but I also am sort of in the process of changing my views on like how our prison system and all of that works anyway.
Yeah.
And how whether it's good or bad that we lock people up, and so at the moment I'm kind of in flux.
Okay.
But I definitely agree that your guy did not do as bad as mine did. You know. Although, different times, different countries, different...
I mean, different animals.
That was a good one. I like that one. It was a little bit more lighthearted.
Yeah, I think we needed that one because if our next episode is anything what we want it to be...
Oh my gosh, I'm so... Can we, like, give a little spoiler about the next episode?
Well, no, but what if...
Alright, well, here, let me be very, very vague.
Okay.
Our next episode has a theme.
There we go.
Oliver, my dog, thinks he's the one that's going to be on the next episode. And he's talking. Actually, you know what it is? He heard us winding down. He thinks I'm about to go to bed. And so he's freaking out. I lost my train. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's thematic. It's got a theme.
Mm-hmm.
And a guest star.
Yes.
Who doesn't know.
Yes.
And I'm so excited.
I am very excited. I hope it's everything I want it to be in my head.
Right. And if not, then, I don't know, we'll have to come up with something extra special for that episode. This is the last episode of Crime Crazy because we've disappointed all of our 17 followers. We have.
And her mom.
And my mom. So.
Well, Erin, until next time, please... don't commit any crimes just so we could talk about it.
I promise that I'm not even going to ask you that question anymore. But do weird things.
I always do.
And stay away from those crazy people.
Will, always.
And for our listeners, same. Don't commit any crimes just so that you can end up on our amazing podcast.
Please don't.
But do write us about your crimes at crimecrazypodcast@gmail.com.
Or you could tweet us at crimecrazypod.
I'm following a ton of awesome people on Twitter. Most of them are podcasters.
Yeah.
Apparently the whole world is full of nothing but like 2 chicks who sit down and talk about crime.
We should literally have, like, a conference somewhere.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Because some of them I've been listening to, like, every episode, and I just want to meet them and be friends with them.
I feel like that's the way I am with My Dad Wrote a Porno. I'm like, I want to be friends with Alice.
Oh my
She
gosh.
cracks me up.
Alice is my favorite.
Yep.
James and Jamie, you're great too.
Yes.
But Alice is my favorite.
She says what I'm thinking every time. I'm like,
time.
That's great.
And you could also look for us on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to find some pictures relevant to this episode to post. Maybe I'll just post a picture of a backhoe
and a bike.
Actually, there is a picture of my guy, Murdoch.
Oh, okay.
He's older in the picture than when the thief was mostly bothering.
We might be able to find a picture of this bridge and how long it is.
Ooh, yikes.
Yeah.
It would be way awesome. How did this happen last year? What did you say?
February 2016.
So there has to be video footage and pictures on social media of this, right?
I hope so. I couldn't find anything, but it might have just been because my search was being stupid.
Well, also it happened at night. Maybe it was really hard to get because it ended at 1:30.
Yeah, 1:30 a.m. Yeah.
So maybe there weren't. But that would be awesome. I'll look for some.
Okay.
You should look for some too.
I will.
And if you are one of the people down in Florida who saw this happen, then we definitely have to hear from you, like, right now.
Yep.
Also, we have a Facebook page.
Oh, yeah.
Which is Crime Crazy Pod, or Podcast.
Podcast.
Because
it actually let us do it.
All the characters.
Yep.
And I think I'm going to make us a Facebook group, which is different than a page.
Okay.
I don't really know how any of that works.
Me neither.
But I thought I'd look into it.
We'll figure it out, and you can definitely find us on Facebook if we have both of those available.
Right. If you search something, will come up.
Yeah.
So, Crime Crazy. And don't forget to subscribe.
Yes.
And rate and review and tell all of your friends to listen.
And then next week's episode will definitely be great, no matter what.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait for next week's episode. All right, next time.
Bye.
Bye.